You're in the mix.
SKM presents Strictly for the Music Podcast. You are now live with the #1 podcast for all upcoming artists worldwide.
It's the real deal.
Welcome back to another episode, Strictly for the Music Podcast. I'm your host, SKN. The next guest I got live in Werent is a producer from Bandlab. He got 11 bands and 11 collections. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcoming to Hennessey Beats. What's up, man? Man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. This man, you don't know how much love people been giving you and showing you, man, on this podcast, bro. So I had to get you on the podcast, bro.
That's awesome, man. That's good to hear. People are good on Bandlab, man. They're good people.
So let's start from the beginning, man. How'd you start producing?
I've actually wanted to produce my whole life. I just didn't know where to start. Like, as a kid and all that, you don't know where to start. You're kind of blind about it. And actually, probably about 6 years ago, a good friend of mine who's also a producer, I was just watching him one day. I was over at his house. I think we're, smoking or something, and you just watch him doing it, and I'm like, hey, I can do this. How do you get this program? Start asking him questions, and he just started hooking me up with free software and the system.
Hell yeah, man. So, what was the best? So, how did you discover Bandlab?
Actually, it was funny. I hadn't quite taught myself like mastering and mixing that well. I've been kind of like putting it off. So I was looking up, I was just Googling like free mastering or cheap mastering for like real quick, somebody could do it for me. And Bandlab popped up from mastering, believe it or not. I clicked on it, got on it, and I was like, oh shit, this is like a whole network. They have their own DAW and everything. I thought that was pretty dope. So.
Hell yeah, man. So were you producing before Bandlab?
Yes.
What kind of DAW were you using before Bandlab?
Ableton.
Is that one of your favorite DAWs to use, or you got another one?
It's like the only one. I mean, I've done FL, but not too much, not to be confident with it. I like FL Mobile. That's pretty dope. I mess with that once in a while when I'm at work.
Hell yeah, man. So on your Bandlab, you said you're affiliated with 11 bands. How did you get involved with them bands, and which ones inspire you the most?
Well, I mean, we'll start from like the original band was probably Loud Pack Mob. They kind of got me on. Dabs got me on over there. He heard some of the music and he hit me up and I joined, and that's kind of how I just fell into everything else. That's how I started kind of getting noticed on Bandlab. Just first it was King and then LPM. Dabs on both of them, and then got on with Young Paper Chasers, and there's a few of the Lead Gang over there with
Hell yeah, man. So what was it like, man, getting involved with the band, and were they thinking that you rapped, or they knew that you only produced beats?
I think a couple of them thought I rapped. I made it very clear I'm not a rapper whatsoever. I think once in a while I'll say some shit to get it off my chest, but no, they figured out I was a producer real quick when I was just, throwing beats left and right at them, and it was inspiring, man. I admit, it's kind of tough. I do a lot of local stuff out here in Phoenix, and it closed down, and so when it did, I it's good to have people to hop on your stuff. That's what keeps you going. Beats don't have to be a little confusing at times. Bandlab was kind of like the fill-in for that, but now Bandlab's kind of like turned full-time a little bit too for me. I'm a little swamped with them, trying to keep up with everybody.
Hell yeah, man. So let me ask you this, man. You're involved with 11 bands. You got 11 collections. What are all in your collections? Are those songs from every band, or are they songs that you picked out, that you liked, and you didn't want to lose them, so you just put them in a collection?
They're all kind of like their own thing. They're a little irrelevant to the bands. They're more for like individuals. I mean, there was one at first. I was just kind of, I think I have two collections that are just like pretty much anybody and everybody. When I first started with Bandlab, like hopping on my tracks, so I was kind of throwing them all together, kind of jamming out to them, And then when I started working with individuals more, like Mystery, TY Lit, Timothy. There's a few others. Stellar, she bought a few tracks off me, and I made her a whole LP, so I'm excited for that when she's taking her time with it, which is great. And then just kind of mainly working with individuals, like the ones that kind of like my go-tos. Like every time I drop a beat, like I guarantee at least one of them are gonna jump on it and start shredding at it. So
Hell yeah, big dog. So let me ask you this, man. What year did you start Bandlab? Was this 2020 or was it 2019?
It was like a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago. Yeah, it's been about a year. Not very long.
Hell yeah, dog.
I like it, yeah.
So man, you're climbing up the ranks, man. People are recognizing you. They love your work, man. How does that make you feel?
Good. I mean, it's inspiring every day. I mean, it's what you look for. I always make myself like a student of production. No one masters musical production. It's one of those type of markets that it's endless. It can go in whatever direction, whatever pace you want it to be. So just staying a student and just wanting to learn and wanting to hear what other people's feedback is huge. If you're getting any type of feedback, whether it's negative or positive, it's feedback, and that should be what you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with anything you do in life. So I think that's how you strive to be a better producer, better individual. Just it's food for thought for any walks of life. But I love it. I do. It's good looking. It humbles me.
Hell yeah, man. So man. You just climbing up the ranks, man. How many beats have you produced on Bandlab or Ableton? Like so far, how many have you published on Bandlab? I mean,
Ableton, I don't know. I have got so many like not even finished ones. I don't know, quite a bit, man. I think with Bandlab, I probably released like well over 200-300. I'd have to go look at that number again. I don't want to give you the wrong number, but yeah, it's up there. I definitely did a few. Let's see, actually. The Bandlab tells you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it should. But let me ask you this, man. You coming into Bandlab and everything, and did you expect a big presence that you got, or were you just thinking that it's not going to be what you thought it was going to be?
Well, originally I didn't really have much of a thought about Bandlab. I just thought it was kind of cool. So I wasn't expecting anything really too much, but no, I actually had no idea I was gonna start like popping off a little bit. But it's only the beginning, I mean, it's always only the beginning.
That's right, man. So before we go any further, man, because I know a lot of people are gonna want to hear your beats and everything, and they're gonna be asking about you. So I need you to plug all your social media, your Bandlab, your YouTube, whatever you got going on. I mean, tell everybody where to find you.
Oh shoot, I'm like the worst when it comes to online marketing myself. Like, all right, so I know you can always get me at Steve Hennessey, or actually Hennessey Beats over at SoundCloud. I wouldn't even know my link. I actually had them all in one spot here. My bad. I'm like the worst when it comes to that. Let's see.
Your dog. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll just put all the links in the description of the episode when I release it.
Oh,
right?
Sure. I lost you. Okay, what's that now?
Oh, I said we'll post all the links to your social media and the links and everything if you don't remember on top,
all right, cool.
bro.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. So let me ask you this, man. How do you approach the sensitive task of discussing changes and rearrangements with an artist?
Like if I want them to change something or they need something changed for me, how do I handle it?
No, with them, man. Like say something didn't sound right to you of the artist, and you're like, well, we got to change. You know what I mean? How do you approach that, bro?
I mean, it just depends on the situation. To be honest, like I'm pretty straightforward guy. Like if it's something that just didn't sound that good, I'll tell them like, hey, you need to redo it, or you know, or not like a dick like that, but like, hey, you should try and you know, I try not to tell them what they should do because I'm not an artist as far as singing or songwriting, but I kind of give them a perspective like as a fan, you know, because I mean, you got to be a fan of the artist if you're gonna work with them. I think personally, if you don't like the artist, don't work with them, you know. You know, but yeah, I mean, if there's something to change, I mean, I come at them as real as possible, you know. I think people appreciate that more than trying to beat around the bush.
What is one thing every song must have for it to be solid?
One thing, to me, it's gotta be drums. Everything. I
The
think
drums,
is
huh?
everything.
Hell yeah, man! I love drums, dog. That's a good answer though, for real, for real.
Yep.
So, who do you think is the best producer working in the industry today?
In the industry, probably I'm gonna have to say the Ninth Wonder.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Ninth Wonder's he's like the king of the crop to me, like as far as his knowledge. But like who I inspire to, believe it or not, I've always been more into like scores for movie productions. So I've always been a big Hans Zimmer fan.
Hell yeah, man. That's what's up. So let me ask you this. What is the first thing you listen for when listening to a new recording? My bad.
You're good, like from an artist, like a recording from them?
Yeah. Like say you're like you produce the beat and everything. He's going in to do the vocals and everything, but what is one thing you listen for in a new recording?
Well, besides quality, because I think that's an obvious one, confidence in their tone. Definitely confidence. Because you could say bull crap all song long, but if you sound confident saying it, you know, people are gonna eat that shit up. So
hell yeah, man. So you worked with T.Y. Truelett, you worked with Stellar. Is there any other artists you haven't worked with that you want to work with?
I mean, yeah, there's a bunch. There's a bunch. I can't even think of them off the top of my head. Shoot, I know I was gonna hit up Tree. That kid's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot going for him. I definitely would like to work with Sirakia Bish. I like his sound. He's got a dope sound. There's a few other ones I can't think of right off the top of my head. There's a lot of talented people on Bandlab. There really is.
Yeah, there is a lot to even name, man. You know what I mean? I have trouble keeping up with everything, man. But man, so what age did you start producing music, man?
We'll see. I'm 32 now, so I'd say I was 26.
26, man. Wow.
20.
Hell yeah. So what was Ableton your first DAW that you ever used?
I stuck with Ableton pretty much for most of it. I don't think I've changed not once. I mean, I think I messed with FL just for like a little bit, but I'm a creature of habit. Like once I figured something out, I don't want to veer from it. So it's always worked with me. I've never had any problems with it at all. It's mainly more for EDM producers, but you can do trap just as easy on there as anywhere else.
Hell yeah, man. So you got your collections, you got your bands. I mean, you're growing as a producer. You know, you got 2,000 followers, man. What are your goals that you're trying to reach this year, man?
I don't really look at the numbers too much. I just like obviously my goal is to make more money. Obviously, I do okay for myself in the local scene, but like I said, it seems like it's always kind of seasonal. Why, I do not know, because music, you know, never sleeps. But I guess, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of cool with like 1,000 a year. I mean, that seems like chill. Like, you know, but I like to look at it like not a impossible goal, but you know, a realistic goal. You know, like if I could be at like 3 stacks by the end of this year, I'd be cool with that. You know, anything more than that, I'd be grateful for. But I like, you know, I don't care so much about the numbers because I know not all of them are organic. You know what I mean? It could be people who got on Bandlab for a week and then left. You know, and so I look at like whoever's communicating with me, how many people am I working with? Am I producing more content? People are putting more lyrics on it. Like, to me, that's a success.
Hell yeah, man. So like What I meant like by goals, I know you're talking about money and everything. Like I was like trying to like get like, were you trying to like do like get on the radio? Maybe,
No, I've been on the radio. My track.
Oh, you've been on the radio?
Yeah, like local, yeah. 92.3 has ran a couple of my tracks, but obviously with a couple of homies that are, a decent size. My boy's got, I think, like 70,000 followers on Spotify. Joe Bills, he's rapped on a few of my beats. One of my best friends I grew up with, he's got a decent little following too. Not like that though. He's probably the biggest artist I've worked with was Joe Bills. Other than that, yeah, I'm locally. I mean, I've been on the radio, just not me personally.
Hell yeah, dog. That's what's up, man. Man, that's amazing. So, what's the history where you from, man?
I'm originally from Cali. I'm a Cali boy. San Bernardino. Was born and raised. Moved out here probably when I was like 11 or 12. Went and lived with my dad. My dad was out here in Phoenix, and I went to high school out here, and went back to Cali in my early 20s, and then I came back here, and then like right about when I came back here in my mid 20s is when I, linked in with my boy, and we started producing together. He started kind of put me under his wing. He's a few years ahead of me, and yeah, he's taught me a lot, and I've been kind of on my own ever since. But yeah.
Okay, if you weren't doing music, man, what would you be doing?
I don't know, probably selling drugs. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe not. I don't know. No, I had a rough upbringing, so I try not to picture life without music. I can't imagine it without it. As a kid, it's easy. You were a kid, nothing really mattered. But young adult, I probably just still party, hanging out. Hopefully, no kids or. I don't know.
Hell yeah, man. That's what's up. So, we already talked about you collabing. King Dabs, he invited you to Loud Pack Mob. That's one of the biggest bands on Bandlab, because man, they put a lot of work in. So how is the sound of your music gonna evolve, bro?
It evolves every track. Every single track, there's something different that I do that I try not to do the same thing over and over. I try not to. I try to structure everything differently. But that's actually a good question, because I don't think it's something you notice right away. You notice when you go back and you look over your stuff. You're like, oh wow, what was I thinking doing this, or that was dope. Why don't I do that no more? Kind of thing. But I know I kind of hit the ground running with LPM specifically, because it was like, that group moves fast, so you got to put out content. You got to get it where you fit it. And to me, that was great. It's good to be a part of something a little more fast paced. It kept me busy. But yeah, it's evolved a lot. I mean, with Bandlab in general, like my drums have gotten like 10 times better, because I used to like always be intimidated writing drums. Like I'd still write drums, but like just I got more confident with my drums because I would focus more on them, knowing that they were the most important thing on a track. Because I think that's the backbone of every track. Anybody can write an okay melody or something, but yeah, it's helped me a lot in the drum department for sure. Like just hearing other people's drums sound great. MJ Beats, I love his drums. He does a great job with his drums. Same with Wicked Beats does great with his drums as well too. So I always try to you always got to respect the peers and try and your own sound with your drums too, and like that's the big thing was the drums definitely.
All right, man. Let me ask you this, man. What if you could work with any other producer to collaborate with an artist? Who would it be, man?
I'd have to give that one to MJ for sure. He's definitely you could tell he's put a little bit more work into it. I think personally, just judging by his sound. Yeah, MJ's got some dope beats. There's a bunch, man. Wicked's dope too. What was it? Laurel Grizzle? Yeah, he's great. Yeah. He does. I love that he stays true to himself. He doesn't want to use samples like at all. He sticks with straight composition. I think that's like every producer's dream, to just be able to compose everything from the ground up. But not everybody has plane tickets to go and get sounds from around the world. You want to do?
How do you feel about producers using loops, man? Because that's a lot of producers, man. People don't notice, but they use loops, man. Absolutely. How do you feel about that?
It's something I've done before. I think all producers would be a liar if they said they've never used them, because everybody wants good sound now. Nobody wants to sit and beat around the bush and sit there and tinker around with hats and I've used samples. I still use them once in a while to inspire me. You have to have something sound that you're attracted to. I have an approach. What I do is I'll drop a sample in my DAW that I absolutely love, and I'll listen to it and I'll build around it. Whether it's a melody or chords or drums, whatever it is, I'll build around it. And I'll always notice whenever I sample, like nothing's ever enough. I can never quite get that full where I feel like it's done. And then I realize I built the whole beat around it, and I take the sample out and it sounds better. Like it sounds good without it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I noticed that it helps you, it's like good foundation, and then you take it out at the very end and you don't even realize that you've built your track based on one sample. And that's how I've been able to do like 100% composition on my work. But yeah, absolutely. I love using them once in a while. I mean, obviously if somebody's just plugging in all loops, whether they make it sound good or not, they're just lying to themselves if they want to sit there and say that that's their work.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So let me ask you this. So what else? Hold on, man. Let me think about this real quick. How to put it in a question. What separates you from the rest of the producers, man?
Oh shoot, I don't know. I think I don't know if that's a.
I would say sound, man. I think your sound sounds like no one got your sound. Like to me, that's what I recognize of you.
Well, I would say you could tell with producers on where they invest their time in most. And me, like I don't buy like sample packs or even MIDI files. I like to purchase I like to put all my eggs in my basket when I buy VSTs and plugins, because I'm always looking for that. That's my biggest addiction with music, is always a new sound. I don't even want to know the number I've spent on plugins. I have Massive, I have Fab Filter, I have Pigments 1 and 2, I have Track God, I have I have them all. Like it's kind of sad, really. My savings account should be much larger than what it is. But I know hopefully in the end it'll benefit my family for sure. But honestly, I guess I would agree with you. Sound, a lot of producers have good sound though there. I don't want to sit there and say I'm better than anybody else, because everybody learns at their own pace. There's obviously some producers that got some things to work on, but shit, I was there a couple of years ago. A lot of my shit sounded horrible back in the day.
Hell yeah, man. So that's pretty dope that you brought that up, that how you take a sample and you work around it, man. Yeah. So how did that even start happening for you, man? Was it just
it was on accident. I was like thinking to myself, and this is back when I was using more and more samples. I kept telling myself like, just stop. This is not your all you're doing is remixing other songs pretty much, and so I was like, I know how to write drums. They're kind of repetitive and you can change the sound of drums. So I just started dropping mainly melodies or chords. I'll drop those mainly over any sample, and I'll just build around it. And like I said, I remember I just kept saying to myself, like, why does it never sound like it's done? And it was driving me nuts. Like I was just releasing tracks that I always felt that weren't done. And just one day I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this sample out. I got mad at the sample one time and I just threw it out. And then I think I like bumped my elbow or something on the keyboard on the space bar or something. It started playing. I was like, hey, this doesn't sound bad at all. This sounds dope as fuck. And I don't even have the sample. And I was like, oh, maybe. And I thought this is something everybody was been doing, and it took me forever to figure out. But This is why they mean by finding your inspiration with samples, not like actually using them, but just actually using them for a temporary amount of time, and then.
That's dope that you bring that up, man. I like that answer, bro. So let me ask you this: what would be the best advice you could give any upcoming producer, man?
Best. Don't be scared to try all the buttons. Just try all the buttons, every single one of them you see. Click on them, see what they do. And if they don't make sense, then look up a YouTube video that'll tell you what they do. And just keep filling your brain up with knowledge. Because before you know it, you know it all. Will know enough to make it worth your while.
Hell yeah, man. So you got any special shout outs you want to give, big dog?
Oh yeah, definitely. TY2 Lit, what up, bro? Got a shout out to TY, man. We're making some big splashes here in a little bit. Just a little hint there, and then definitely Dabs, man. He put me on with everybody pretty much. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have half the amount of connects that I do through Bandlab. Definitely shout out to Runner. He's always been a solid ass dude. He's very talented. I'm actually he should be. His time should be coming soon. He needs to piss off the right person or make the right person happy. But I don't know. There's a lot of talented people I like to shout out. Like Tim, he's always been there. Mystery, he's always been there. They've always been a fan. Malcolm's always been a fan. He's always commenting on my stuff. Like since like day one, I think my very first track, Malcolm even commented on. So I was another person I'd like to work with too here in the future. Stellar, she's always been a sweetheart. She's always been supportive of my tracks, and I love her singing voice. She's got a great singing voice. Shout out to everybody. They know who they are.
Hell yeah, big dog. Do you have any songs you produce that are on Spotify?
Yeah. I have a few. I think I've released like 40 tracks. Maybe. They're just instrumentals. It's kind of hard to get a following when you're just releasing an instrumental, so I try and keep them in my back pocket for somebody who wants to put lyrics on it, But I got about 40 of them out there. Just look it up, Stephen Hennessey. I'm on all of them.
Hell yeah, big dog. You got any final words you want to give?
Just keep grinding, everybody. Keep working, and we'll see you at the top.
Hell yeah, there you go, man. Hennessey Beats in the building. This is Strictly for the Music podcast, and we're out.
Thanks for having me.